Hello, and welcome to October's edition of Let's Talk Oregon. On today's show, we have two very exciting guests with us today. We're going to be first talking with Sheri Pollock, the director of the Oregon Area Food Pantry, and be discussing the purpose of the food pantry in our community and the ways our community can help serve its function. And in the second segment, we'll be talking with Ida Dempich, who is the president of the Oregon Chamber of Commerce. But first, let's welcome Sheri to our show. Hi, Sheri. Welcome.
Hi, Mike. Thanks.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So, we know each other a little bit, have some common friends, but I know that you had a very interesting journey in life that has kind of led you now to become this director. Do you want to kind of tell our audience about your journey and the many iterations of your career and how you've come to be the director of the Oregon Area Food Pantry?
Sure. Well, I kind of all started here at Oregon High School. I went to Oregon schools all the way through. Went to college thinking I'd be a psychologist, but they told me I had to do experiments on rats, so I changed my mind and decided to be a lawyer. So went to law school in Madison and was really interested in criminal justice. So I was a prosecutor for 6 or 7 years. And then I became a lawyer at the Department of Public Instruction and did a lot of education law. And then I was in other areas in the state. I was a project manager and I did a lot of emergency management activities. And after 30 years, it was time to retire and try to figure out what I wanted to do with my, as a grown-up, and was looking for some way to contribute back to the community. And the timing of the food pantry position came up at the same time I was looking to give back to the community. And so that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Sounds like your varied job history has really set you up to be a successful person in that realm with all the managerial experience you've had as well.
Yeah, and a lot of people experience.
A lot of people experience, for sure.
And problem solving.
Problem solving, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think everyone in the audience can agree that Oregon Area Food Pantry is a tremendous value to this community. So can you explain the type of resources you offer to those who the pantry serves, and how do you sustain your mission and purpose moving forward?
Sure. So we serve all of the residents of the Oregon School District. So anybody that lives within our boundaries is welcome to come and take advantage of all of our services. If they live outside of this district, we'll still serve them, but we'll try to get them to go somewhere closer to their home.
Sure.
So we provide lots of food to families. They can come as often as they want. We're open every Tuesday of the month, 2 Thursdays in each month, and 1 Saturday.
Okay.
We have a lot of protein, complex carbohydrates. We try to really focus on healthy food. We still have the occasional cake, box, cake mix box, and that sort of stuff. But we really try to focus on that. In addition to the food, which I would say most people, when they leave the pantry, probably have over $100 worth of groceries every time they come, probably more. We also provide gift cards to families. Once a month, they'll get a card for gas at Quick Trip, and they'll get a card for groceries from Quick Trip. And that kind of started when we weren't able to get all of the food we wanted to give people. It was easier to give them a card to go to Quick Trip to buy the milk and the butter that we weren't able to stock.
Yeah. And do you have the storage capability for those things too, or the cold foods?
Yep. So our building is now 6 years old this in November, and we have a walk-in freezer and a walk-in refrigerator. So we are able to hold a lot of frozen and refrigerated food. And then, so in addition to what we do during the regular pantry time, we also have 2 school-based programs that we're part of. So one is, we call it Food for Break, and it's kids that qualify for free and reduced lunch or otherwise have special financial needs that are identified through the school district. We provide gift cards to those families to cover school breaks. So coming up, we have the break in October, and we have the break for Thanksgiving. It's 5 full days. So each family that's part of this program will get a $25 gift card for each kid. And they get their choice if they want it to go to Aldi's, Quick Trip, or Hy-Vee. And when we took this over from the Friends of Oregon School District, we decided to have families come to us to get the cards because we wanted them to use the food pantry as well.
Yeah.
Some people knew about us but didn't come very often. Some didn't think they were able to. And so we've really been able to boost our use of the pantry this way as well. And it really helps families because they're walking out with a week's worth of groceries.
Yeah, so like I said, a tremendous resource. Have you seen the need in our community grow over the last couple of years?
Oh, yeah. So right now I'm planning for Thanksgiving, so I have to look at last year's numbers to this year's numbers. And last September, we served, I think it was 90 families.
Wow.
This September, it was 161.
Mm.
So we are way
Sure.
over. And that's been every month it's been like that in 23 versus 22. And every day when we give food out, it's well over 2,000 pounds every day. And so you hear a lot about food drives and how many pounds you raise.
Sure.
Like a big food drive, the one the school district just had, that the FFA sponsored, that brought in 4,000 pounds.
Oh, amazing.
Now, 1,800 pounds was green beans, but
Okay.
it was 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But when you look at that, that's 2 pantries.
Right.
And that was a lot of work for those kids to organize that
I
food
imagine
drive.
it was. Yeah.
So we do that. And then the other program that we fund is covering school lunch balances for kids in families that applied for free and reduced lunch but didn't qualify because the criteria are so low. I mean, I don't think anybody understands how little money you have to make to not qualify. And so there's a lot of families that just barely miss qualifying by like $100.
Yeah.
And so we're stepping in and paying for breakfast and lunch for those kids if they choose to participate. And that's all funded by our donors.
Right. And then also, in addition, like this is not just a resource for kids in the district. I mean, any adult that lives in the boundaries can attend and come and get food. Is there an application process? Is there, do they just show up in an open time? If anybody at home is wondering like how to access this resource.
Yep. So anytime we're open, they come. If it's their first time, they bring a photo ID with them. It can be anything. And they bring a piece of mail or something to show where they live in addition to their ID. And that way we know if they live in the district. We ask that they bring that same information for everybody in their household. And then we register the whole household into our computer system. Everything we collect is confidential. We don't share it with anybody. We don't share it with the school. We don't share it with the police. We don't share it. There's nobody that sees the information we collect. And then as people come, every time they come, we keep track so that we can say how many people we served and have some idea how much food we're going to need the next time. And that's pretty much all it is. And when they come, after they register and go through that process, then they grab a grocery cart and start shopping like a grocery store.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. It makes people feel dignified, right? And it's not a different experience than maybe what one would have at a food pantry. If they can actually feel like they're picking and choosing their own selections, I think that's wonderful. Yeah,
that's one of our focuses at the Oregon Area Food Pantry is choice, giving people their dignity, and so we really focus on my volunteers not hovering over people. Nobody wants to be watched while they shop, and we all know how to shop, so they don't need somebody helping them. And we'll have the fresh produce out so people can pick what they want. They go through the aisles, pick what they want. They tell us. The only thing we don't let the guests go into is our freezers and refrigerators, in part because our doors are easy to break, and we also don't want them left open, and so that's the only area where we ask what they want and give it to them.
And my question would be, do you actually play the annoying Christmas music during the holiday season to add the extra effect, or?
Well, so I tried last year because we had the ability last year to do that, and the reaction was they didn't want that.
Yeah,
so we don't do it.
Right, yeah, gets to be a bit much, right?
Yeah, well, and a lot of people have hearing issues, and
Makes
and
sense.
the holidays aren't happy for everybody, and
No, certainly not.
So we just try to be as neutral and welcoming as we can.
Yeah, so we have kind of foreshadowed the holidays. That's coming upon us. I'd imagine, Thanksgiving and Christmas are going to be your busiest times of the year. So at this time of year, how is the service to these families a little bit different? How do you even meet the demand that this is, there's special traditional foods, right? There's a lot of the people want turkey and they want their potatoes, and how do you make sure that's there for them?
Yep. So we source food from several different places. I found out that I'm going to get 140 turkeys from Second Harvest for free. That means I probably need another 40 or 50. So I'll be looking for somebody to either donate those or to get a good deal from one of the grocery stores or something. We are doing food drives all over the community right now. It kind of started with our board of directors, and we're calling it the Neighborhood Thanksgiving Food Drive. And we have a kit on our website that anybody can do this. They can download the form, and you put it on on a grocery bag, set it at your neighbor's house, and tell them when you're going to come pick up the food. And it has a list of all the food we need for Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
One of the
One
churches.
of my neighbors dropped one off for me.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I might have missed that deadline.
Oh, well, we'll take it anytime. We have a drop-off box. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So we've collected a fair amount so far. We're still collecting. One of the local churches is doing a Thanksgiving food drive. So by the end of the month, we'll know what we have, and then we'll have to go buy the rest.
That's great. Awesome. So I think, people tend to think about this time of year as a time of giving, but how do we extend giving beyond the holiday season? Like, what can people do not in the holiday season, and to get involved as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we have need all year round.
Mm-hmm.
There's never a time when people stop coming to the food pantry.
Mm-hmm.
People think the summer's low, but really it isn't. So we take donations all the time. We have a drop box at the front door. We're open every Saturday from 10 to 11. And anytime we're open for people to shop, we're open to take donations. People can send emails and say, hey, I have a whole bunch I want to drop off, and we'll meet them there. People that grow gardens, we love to take their produce and give that, so grow a little extra produce. One of the really successful events we had this summer was the after school club accepted our cereal challenge. They challenged all the families that use the after school club to bring in a box of cereal, and they collected 400 boxes of cereal.
Nice.
And then they made a domino chain in the Netherwood Knoll gym and videotaped it, and the kids thought it was great. It was a really fun way for families to get involved and to give back, and something we really need. I mean, we always need cereal. That was 400 boxes that lasted us 2 months.
And it's really great to get the young people involved in that and to give that sense of giving early on in age is really important. So finally, as we kind of come around, what do you see are going to be the coming challenges for you in the coming years? How can our community help you meet the demands?
So, I mean, we do see a lot more demand, and we are going to be, we haven't done a lot of fundraising in the past. We just we're very passive. People tend to want to give us money, and we're happy to do that. But because of these new programs we're adding that all cost money, the different school programs and the gift card program, we're going to be doing some fundraising. And so that is one thing. We're looking at sustaining how to go further. So we'll be asking people to donate, asking people to collect money to help us do these programs. The other thing we'll be looking at is, are there other services we can provide at the food pantry or not? Right now, we're pretty much at our capacity as far as what our volunteers and what we have the capacity to do. But there's always that desire to do a little bit more if we can. The other thing that I anticipate is working collaboratively with the new library, because they're right across the road. And I've talked to them about doing maybe some cooking classes or just ways to get the community involved through the library and the food pantry and get some cross-pollination going. So that's the sort of stuff we're looking at. Our building's 6 years old, so in the our plan next year, in the next 2 years, is to put solar energy on it.
Okay, great.
But then we'll be at the 10-year mark, and we're going to need some, maintenance and stuff like that. So we'll always have to be looking at that.
Well, that's fabulous. I mean, I think we can all agree that the Oregon Area Food Pantry is a jewel in this community. It serves lots of families. It helps out school students, helps out elderly folks. It's a treasure, and we should support it as much as we can. So, again, thanks for taking the time on this dreary day to come out and to be interviewed for this project. And I wish you good luck. And I know I, for one, will be making some donations this holiday season, and I encourage you to do the same. And we'll be back in our next segment with Ida Dempich, the president of the Oregon Chamber of Commerce. Thanks.
It's Anderson and Jakey. Jakey moving left, able to get across the middle, shot fired! It's over! The dagger's in the chest, the nails are in the coffin, and Jakey has won it for the Panthers!
Who else would it be? Goes on the court, loses, pulls up. It's good! Did he win it? What a shot! Give it to him! Evan Lyle wins it for the Panthers!
We have to travel, but a turnover for Oregon. Here comes
What a move, Olivia Nice.
Welcome back to the October episode of Let's Talk Oregon, and now I'm here with our guest, Ida Dempich, and she is the president of the Chamber of Commerce for Oregon. So welcome, Ida. It's nice to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time to come in.
Sure.
So you're here as a representative of the Chamber of Commerce. So there's probably a lot of people here and our viewers that don't exactly know what the Chamber of Commerce does or what is the function. So can you kind of guide us in what roles and responsibilities that chamber has?
Sure. The Oregon Area Chamber of Commerce is an organization that business members join, and it's to help promote their businesses, inform the business, or help them inform the public, promote their business, and also advocate for them. So it's a nice way for us, especially a smaller business, to, if they are struggling as they get started, we're a go-to for some questions. And, we're even there for all the other businesses. So we're made up of small, medium, large businesses, nonprofits. We have financial institutions and or educational institutions as members, and so many more nonprofits working at, or not nonprofits, but the in-home businesses. Some of them are, they don't have a storefront to really show us.
Not a brick and mortar store, but there's still a presence in the community.
Absolutely.
Still deserves some representation, correct? So would you say how many businesses in total do you service with this group?
Usually, it varies from year to year because it's a membership, an annual membership. So, well, anywhere from 140 to 200 businesses in a year.
Wow.
And we're here to help even community members. Community members call all the time with questions.
Sure.
You'd be amazed at the things that
Yeah.
the Chamber of Commerce can answer, or
That's great.
try to find answers for them, or
Right.
place a direction for them.
Okay, that's great. And I think to me, when you said 140 to 200, that surprises me that even we'd have that many businesses in town to begin with. I think that's something a lot of people, do not know for
Right.
sure. So as we were continuing talking about the businesses you serve, we do have that variety of small and middle and large corporations. So what do you think makes this community attractive to these businesses?
My answer to that is, what isn't?
Right.
Oregon is a great place to live, work, and play. So, we've got a thriving downtown business community right now. We have, great location for commuters. So, why not? We've got lots of businesses looking at Oregon to fill a niche that maybe isn't part of our community right now. So it's adding some diversity for our residents and customers from out of town.
That's great. Yeah, I know, because, one thing about Oregon is often you're driving somewhere else, and I would agree that anything we can do to keep people in the money and spending the tax dollars here in our community would be really, really significant and important.
For sure.
So now, as the president of the Chamber of Commerce, what does your specific role entail, and how does that play out on a day-to-day basis? Is it a full-time job? Is it part-time? Just kind of let us know what your day looks like.
Well, as president and any board member, we're all volunteers. So I've been president for a few years now, and it's changed from year to year. The more I know, the more I dig in. And so every year can be a little different. Recently, not having an executive director, I'm in the office one day a week, and then I try to hit the office on lunch hours, or if somebody calls to purchase some chamber bucks or needs some letters for the sign, we arrange times that work for both of us to meet at the chamber office. So I carry the cell phone around with me all the time, so I am answering the phone, but we're not always staffed. So all the board members are taking a role that, we're all volunteering, and we're doing the best we can to
That's interesting.
to keep it going.
And so on the search for this executive director, I'm assuming you're looking, right? So we can talk about some like free job postings here. What's the ideal candidate for this type of position, and what person would be interested in this type of position?
Yeah. So this position, the first and foremost, they have to be able to work for multiple bosses. Your boss is the board of directors.
Right.
So, and the board of directors shifts a little bit each year. We try to keep 6 on board, from year to year, and then we re-elect 3. So there's always 3 new board members each year. And the executive board, the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, can change from year to year. So, you have to be able to pivot with those different personalities and the different directions. One year where the board might be saying, we're focusing on this. The next year, we're pivoting and we're focusing on this. And so someone who can really pivot with that and get along with other people, of course, the standard professionalism, the ability to network and collaborate, great communication skills.
Is there a specific field of study that an ideal candidate, takes?
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. It's just the right, personality and the right fit, for someone who just loves this type of work to get involved with the community and the business members and advocate for them and just love that area. I mean, it's definitely a job that you need to love because there is some high demands at times. So your days can get a little crazy, especially when we have our events and things. You're kind of that face of the chamber. So that's important to us that we pick the right candidate.
So you've heard it here, folks. If you're looking for maybe a career change, obviously let's get you on board and maybe apply for this position, and hopefully we get somebody gung-ho in there and kind of help shape the vision of the town and its businesses. So
absolutely,
you've kind of foreshadowed your events. Now I think the biggest one of the year, obviously, is Summerfest. Is that correct? Yeah. So I'm assuming you're already in the planning stages for June 2024, right? So why don't you talk about Summerfest a little bit? I know it's not the season for that, but why is it such a vital event for our community?
Yeah, Summerfest. We are super excited for 2024 Summerfest. We've already booked the bands. We booked a brand new carnival. So that's super exciting. And we're just carrying on to keep moving with every step of the way. There's people that want to put on a car show, so we're working with them. We'll have food vendors and non-food vendors. We'll be working with them soon. Craft fair, we've already got that meeting with somebody.
Yeah, that was pretty successful last year, from what I understand. Yeah.
So, it's a time of year for the entire community to come out, see people that you don't normally see, have a great time with your family. It's just a time that if you want to come volunteer, you can come join us.
Right, you need people to work the tents, correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
What other roles can you volunteer? I think a lot of people might not know what that even looks like, right?
Right. So a lot of times, you'll hear you're volunteering in the beer tent. That's a popular one.
That might be the most popular one,
exactly.
I would imagine, right? Yeah.
So, it takes a lot of people to put that on.
Yeah.
So we have, ticket sellers. We, have the people who put the wristbands on and just handing out the beer when people want a beer, things like that, So the beer tent is popular. But then there's the ball diamonds that each need some staffing. The most unpopular one is probably garbage pickup, but it has to be done.
It sure does.
And we staff our chamber table, and when you staff that table, you learn a lot and you meet a lot of people. And then fireworks, of course, needs some staffing at the streets to keep our pedestrians safe. So, it doesn't sound like maybe very many, but last year we put together the volunteer list, and we could have used over 100 people for volunteering just to lighten the load for everybody else.
Now, is there a way, do you have a Facebook page or a website for people to follow and get updates about needs for volunteers, et cetera? Like how are people that are hearing all these things and saying, hey, next June, I would love to do that. How can they reach out to find that information?
So right now, they can just email director@oregonwi.com and just state that they're interested. We will be getting it on our website, oregonwi.com.
Okay.
As we, put all the pieces together and get the right people to do those jobs that not all of us understand how to do as far as the design work and everything. Right. We do have a website that is put together, but it doesn't really have anything on it at the moment. and it's just OregonWISummerfest.com.
Okay.
And last year, we just had our itinerary, what was going on, the events, we kept just updating it up to the day of. So, we'll always continue to keep that updated.
And what are some other well-known events or things that might not be known that people can
Sure.
take part of as well?
Yeah. So we're gearing up for our annual dinner, which is always beginning of the year in the February timeframe. And that's just a night of recognizing our businesses. And also, we have a great time. We have some entertainment. We've got a speaker. We've got a raffle, a silent auction, just time to network with people. So, food and fun, and
Now, is that event open to the public
it
to buy
is open
tickets?
to the public
Okay,
to buy
good.
tickets, yes.
Right.
There's a lot of business members there, but we also have community members that come in and, just support those businesses and cheer them on when they're getting an award or, so it's a good time. And we do that at the Legend of Bergamot each year. And then we've got our annual golf outing, and that's held in May. So that planning's starting already as well.
I bet.
So, we just keep rolling from one year to the next.
You won't see me out on the links. I am not a golfer myself, but the chamber dinner sounds like exciting for me too.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
It is.
Is there anything else that you would like our viewers to kind of know and recognize about the Chamber of Commerce?
Sure.
And, just kind of as we kind of come to our end of our time together, anything like lasting impressions you want to leave with our viewers?
Well, we do have a new location, which is
Okay.
quite exciting for us. We spent a lot of time last year building it out. We're in the new Village Hall on the second floor in Suite 204. We absolutely love our space. It just fits us perfect, and we love to invite people to come in. Right now, we're open by appointment only, but we definitely will make that time to bring people in. And when a lot of times from the public, we'll get, hey, can I come buy some chamber bucks? And so the chamber bucks is, it's still out there growing.
I've used them before. They're very handy.
Yeah, so they're used like a check or cash. There's a variety of businesses in Oregon.
Sure.
They're great gifts, and it keeps the business local. So
It's exciting.
yeah, it's a great program.
And I know we're on in our last segment. Obviously, we talked about the need for Thanksgiving at the Oregon Area Food Pantry, but obviously, gift-giving season is also coming our way. So that's a great gift idea for those folks that live and work here in Oregon to spend that money in a way that really helps and support our local businesses. I think that's a great idea, and that's something that definitely should continue. Well, I think this has been a very informative conversation. I've learned a lot. Maybe I'll apply for that director role. I don't know. Maybe I'm the right guy, but probably not, to be honest with you. But thanks for taking the time to come out today and talk with us.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate this
Appreciate it.
opportunity.
Thanks. So that's all for Let's Talk Oregon this October, and look forward to our next episode coming next month. Also, remember, you can catch us on the third Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m., either on the cable channels or on OCA Media YouTube. Thanks.